To fool by destroying me and my daughter's relationship because I didn't believe her. I'm not looking for any sort of sympathy with this post, it's more of an awareness. I am 54, have a daughter, F22, that when she was 14 was horribly gang raped by 3 guys from her school. But I will start from the beginning. Me and my daughter were extremely close when she was younger until she hit her preteen years and found everything I did. Annoying LOL. Me and her mother always caught her talking to boys and whatnot, normal things. When she reached freshman year of high school we let her out to party. After said party she had a dramatic mood shift and wasn't the same girl. She later confided in my wife that she was raped at the party and I believed her instantly and I went to the police right away and got a report made and a rape kit done. But this is where things started to get complicated. She started to change her story multiple times, every time new evidence came out. For example, it started that she wasn't drinking to she actually was drinking, then to her never talking to those guys to her actually dating one of them, and then to eventually text coming out that she was planning to have sex with one of them. I started to question if my daughter was actually capable of lying about this because she did more than intended and said this because she was embarrassed. My daughter then started to have severe depression and we pulled her from school. One afternoon I just got sick of her constant story changes and I questioned her and I told her to her face that I didn't believe her. I will never forget her face and how I know I actually broke her heart. She then comes back to me screaming and crying that I broke her and that she was a virgin and would never think to lose her virginity that way. She didn't talk to me for 6 months. Later, 3 witnesses came forward backing what my daughter was saying and I felt like the biggest prick, asshole, dick, you name it, and I will never forgive myself for what I did to my daughter, and her rapists ended up pleading guilty. Even with that, my daughter had multiple suicide attempts and struggled with her mental health, which I feel majorly responsible for. Where our relationship is now is that I do whatever she wants me to. To keep her happy, I bought her dream car, I pay for her apartment in New York and put her through college. I tried to ask her if me and her can do family therapy. She refuses and says she likes where things are at now, which is us talking when she wants to. But I wish we can be in a better place because I found out through my wife she does online sex work now and I wish she was comfortable enough to tell me, but I fully understand why she wouldn't want to tell me. I hope the parents of daughters hear this and know never to be me.
To fool by not disclosing my sex addiction. So I, F24, have been going out with this guy Mike, M27, for about a month. We haven't done anything besides making out and hand jobs. This is where the tension lies. I wanted to wait a little bit before I had sex with him. You didn't understand why. I told him I just wanted to wait for a little bit longer. I am ashamed of my addiction. I am seeking therapy for it and I'm working on my trauma. I don't know if I'm ready to go full-blown with him yet. And at this point I don't know if it's healthy for me even to be engaging in any sexual activity. Well, he somehow found out. He told me that I should have just told him. He said that since I have this addiction I should be fine with sleeping with him. I don't want to fall back into old habits and if I am ready to go full sex with him yet. I am willing to do other stuff with him, just not penetrative sex. But he's still pressing me about the sex matter. I don't think I'm ready now. I don't think I'll be ready for a while. Our relationship is kind of strained right now. I really like him, I just don't know what to do. After a flood of comments, I will be inviting him over and talking to him about all of this. I will keep you guys posted. This is the next day. So let me just explain what happened. He came over and it did not go well. I voiced my concerns and he just trampled over every single grievance I had. He called me some very nasty names, which is not new to me, and during the middle of the fight he had to go to the bathroom. He was in there for about 30 minutes. I think we're probably taking a shit, but I don't know. When he came out he was crying, saying that he doesn't want this to be the end of us. He just doesn't understand how I don't want to be intimate with him. He said since I've had so many partners in the past it's not going to be a problem. I once again explained my addiction to how it materializes in real life. He said since it's a relationship it's not going to happen like that. If people want me to make a different post about how I struggle with my addiction and explain how it is and was for me, I will. He was basically bawling, saying that he doesn't want this to be the end. I said I cannot have a relationship and also have sex right now. I said just give me some time. He says he doesn't have time and if I'm not going to give him sex he should just leave. Then I told him to leave. He ended up getting very angry and called me a slut. And I told him I'm not the one that's begging for sex. Then he left. So yeah, and this is my story.
Tofu by using an ice-cold bidet to wash my butt and collapsing on the toilet. Please excuse my English as it's my second language. This is my first time living in a cold country that experiences snow. It wasn't snowing, but the temperature was extremely low. I had installed a simple bidet when I first moved into my apartment because I grew up using one and then felt weird if I didn't. It was nothing fancy and I connected it to the cold water, not thinking much of it. I'd never used a heated bidet before, so I didn't think I'd need one. Now here is how it went down. It's a normal day and I turn on my bidet and begin washing my butt. The second the ice-cold water hit my bumhole, every muscle and vein in my body contracted at the same time. I couldn't think, I just sat there as the very, very cold water violated me. Think of a brain freeze you get when eating ice cream, but down under. Your asshole is what's frozen. I started to feel dizzy and not being able to think. I got up and immediately fell on the floor and hit my head on the sink. I lied on the floor for what felt like an eternity, but was only few minutes while my butt freeze went away. Thankfully I wasn't badly hurt, but it could have been much worse. Later when I explained to my friend why I have a bump on my head, they couldn't stop laughing, so I thought I'd share for your amusement too.
Tofu by inadvertently calling my girlfriend a fat elephant. My girlfriend and I have been stuck in a bit of a rut of late, not sleeping well, zero exercise and eating very poorly, resulting in lack of motivation from both of us. We would just sit around on our phones knowing full well we weren't paying any attention to our surroundings. So an advertisement for a local gym on the radio prompted a rather spontaneous discussion regarding aforementioned lazy pieces of shit we were becoming. We have 2 kids and both work full-time, so lazy is obscure to us. After ironing out our problems and both agreeing to eat better, exercise, etc., my girlfriend told me how her dresses don't feel as loose as they did a few months ago, and she went into detail about how much weight she had gained in such a short space of time, to which I replied with, well, at least we lazy is obscure to us. After ironing out our problems and both agreeing to eat better, exercise, etc., my girlfriend told me how her dresses don't feel as loose as they did a few months ago, and she went into detail about how much weight she had gained in such a short space of time, to which I replied with, well, at least we addressed the elephant in the room, a phrase she had never heard before. A phrase that, for a split second, would be the cause of my untimely death. Oh, if looks could kill. I spent the next few minutes frantically Googling the phrase to convince her that I was talking about the problem in its entirety, and our inability to address it until now, not that I thought she was an actual fucking elephant. Eventually, she did see the funny side.